Could the amount and type of light that we are exposed to can silently be shaping our mental health? Can we harness the power of light in order to improve our psychological well-being? In order to explore these topics and to brighten our understanding, I invited here today Petra Popa, who is an architect and interior design, and she's also the creator of the interior design studio Adela Petra Design. And more than that, she's also a very good friend of mine since many, many years. And she's joining me today in Dubai from Romania. Hi, Petra. Welcome to Sparrow Podcast. It's so nice to have you with me today.
Hello, Catherine. I'm very nervous as well, but I'm very glad to be here.
Don't be nervous. It's time to have fun now. And I would like to know, how was Dubai for you? How do you find Dubai?
I think it was a lovely experience because it was with you, obviously. And I really had a great time here, and I suppose I will come back. I'm not sure if for business or for traveling.
Oh, nice, nice. Looking forward. And I would like to know, what impressed you most from architectural point of view in Dubai?
I think everyone who comes here sees the skyscrapers first, and I think they are kind of impressive, especially if you're coming from a city where the skyscrapers are not so oftenly seen. And I think also the lighting has a very powerful impact during the night, which we don't usually have it so often. And I don't know, I really enjoyed the vibe, and I think we could learn from the interior design here, from the architecture, from the lighting, especially from the restaurants. I saw that they are trying very hard to impress every client, every tourist or person who lives here. And I'm not sure if this answered to your question, but
for sure. And I would like to say, like, one of the things that I admire about you is that every time we are in a city or we are visiting something, you have this eye for, beauty. You have this eye for architecture, and you observe so many details that if I would look in a room or if I would look at a building, I would not necessarily observe this. And I really like your, attention to details. And I can see that you have this professional and artistic eye, That's why I would like to know, like, what were the driving forces behind you choosing this career path?
Thank you very much for the words. I really appreciate it. Yes, indeed, people are not observing so many details as I'm doing, but it's a professional quality or defect, if you can say it, because I'm all the time with my eyes on the sky. And Dubai is making you do this. But I chose this career. I chose architecture. I studied architecture. And it all started in 2016 when I did my bachelor degree. And I studied about the lighting in Timișoara, about the lighting in a city. And I went a little bit deeper in my master's degree with lighting, and I chose like the emotional lighting and how light can affect your mood or your functionality on a daily basis. So I wanted to know more about this cognitive part of lighting, not only the visual one, but also how can influence your mood. Yes, exactly.
Okay. What is the connection between light and psychological well-being?
Well, first of all, let's see what emotional lighting is all about. Obviously, the name says a lot, but it's actually a creative process which takes in count the perception towards yourself, towards a space, or towards others. So, under the control of light, obviously. So if emotions are involved in this process, this means that our perception to the world and towards everything that occurs to us on a day can drastically differ. So each one of us can have a different perception of a space or of himself only because of this topic, because of light and how they see and receive light in their brains.
Colors represent a powerful communication tool. How do colors speak to us, and why do we have such a strong connection with certain colors?
Yes, indeed. Colors have a very powerful impact on our visual communication. Let me give you an example. Let's start with the example. At what color pops into your mind when do you think about Christmas?
Obviously, it would be red.
It would be red, obviously, because in the history, Santa Claus is dressed in red. So in our mind, Christmas is associated with red. And let me give you another example for the Halloween, because it's almost Halloween. What color pops into your mind?
It would be orange
Because of
the pumpkin.
Yes, and
but
so on.
Also black and
yes, but the main color is orange. So
I have one question. What colors pop into your mind when you think about Petra podcast?
obviously, it's the purple one.
Of course. I like that.
A good answer. So this is about when we are talking about pure colors, for example. But with the colors in lighting, it's a bit different. If you want, I can explain a bit the connection with the emotions and also the difference between pure colors and lighting colors. In the warmer colors, like the pure ones, they can show to you the passion, love, like force, and the colder colors can draw you to serenity, calm, and so on. But with the colors in lighting, it's a bit different because this is only the visual perception of colors, but in a cognitive way, the lighting does the opposite. I mean, the reddish colors can calm you and can create better ambience, and the colder colors like blues or greens can make your nervous system more anxious. That's why the screens or the TV screens, the phone screens before bed night can make your brain a bit more like anxious.
Okay, or agitated.
Yes, or agitated. So that's why it's very important when you use light in a space to use it properly, because, for example, you don't want your employees to go very sleepy at work. So you don't want to put them in an orange, yellowish color.
Okay.
You better put them in a white color or...
So they work.
Yes, so they work, exactly.
Time is money.
Exactly. And when you go to bed, you don't want to be anxious before going to bed. So you will put in the room reddish color, orange, yellowish color. And also this has something to do with our memory, because the first type of lighting was the sun and the fire in the history. And we associate these kind of colors in our mind with the beginning. So that's why in the houses we used like candles in the beginning. After that we went to the electrical power and we kept this color for our electrical sources, like oranges, like 3000 Kelvin, it's the orange one. But now the technology has evolved and we can perceive this kind of, I don't know, not colors, but aspects more deeper.
Okay, very interesting. So it's basically like here we have a very warm environment.
Yes.
And it helps us hopefully to calm us down.
The energies, yes. Yes.
It's a very homey environment, I feel.
Exactly,
here.
exactly.
And
so
I think this light helps a lot.
Exactly. So that's why it's very, very important in your home to use what suits you best for the spaces and for your habits, to be more, to improve your qualities, to improve your moods, to improve your work. If you're working from home, for example, it's very important to use a light that makes you want to work, that doesn't make you very low, that drains your energy. So you won't put a fireplace in the space you want to work because it will keep your energy low.
Okay, understood. I really like that difference that you made between the color itself and the light with a certain color. Because normally, if we say red, we usually associate it with power or with passion. And
Exactly.
you mentioned that with the lightning, this is completely different.
Yes, it is different because when you see colors, it's a visual aspect. It's the perception of that color. But what happens behind the eye, it's at cognitive level. So it's a bit different. Even though in the first place we can see red light and we think about like rousing facts, but deep down that red, it's calming our brain.
Okay, so it would be like red, orange, yellowish.
Exactly.
Which would help like alleviate anxiety.
Okay. So yes, it will be like calming your entire nervous system.
Okay.
It will decrease the cortisol, the stress level.
Okay.
So it will help to have better ambience and to increase the serotonin and decrease the cortisol level.
Okay.
And it will also help you with the hormone of sleep, which is melatonin. And it will create a better ambience and a calmer ambience for your brain and for your cells.
Okay. So we mentioned that the circadian rhythm is regulating the wake and sleep cycle. And this is mostly influenced by the amount of light and darkness. So I would like to know, how does light influence our internal biological clock?
So our circadian rhythm is influenced by light, like natural light or artificial light. It works both ways. In the past was only the natural light, but nowadays also the artificial light has a very powerful impact on the circadian rhythm. It affects, how I said before, the serotonin, the melatonin, and the cortisol in our brain, which is produced in a part of our brain which is in deep connection with the amygdala, the creator of emotions. So if this circadian rhythm is disturbed and we don't get enough sleep or we don't have our rhythm well managed, our entire emotions are upside down. So we cannot work, we cannot sleep, we cannot make important decisions in our life. It can affect you also the food appetite or your energy or your mood by general, your functionality, your body functionality and your brain functionality. So I think it's very, very important to be aware of this lighting in a house after the dusk, because nowadays the rhythm is more perturbed because of the operation of the electrical power, which postpones the sleeping time after the dusk with a few hours, and our brain is not conscious that he has to go to sleep at the biological hour. He faces the light after the dusk, and he thinks that he has to still be awake. So that influences us in a bad way, because we manage to shorten our sleep period. Instead of sleeping 8 or 10 hours a night, we sleep only 5 or 6, because our brain cannot be put to sleep because of the light we are exposed after the natural light is going down. So we have to take care of how much light do we use before going to sleep. At least if we are using it, at least using it well to make our brain calm down and go in a more
relaxed
stage just before to sleep. So that's why, the screens have the blue screens. That's not a very good light to use before going to sleep. That's why there are glasses, or your phone can be put in a sleep mode and it goes a little bit yellowish, because the technology is trying, and it's aware about this, and it's trying to put your brain to sleep before going to bed, because everyone is using phones or TVs before going to bed.
So, what's your opinion about having a TV in your bedroom?
Personally, but it's a subjective
Okay.
way.
Okay.
I hate it. I do not agree with a TV in your bedroom, and I'm all the time when I'm doing designs, I'm concealing my clients to do so. In the end, they will do whatever they want because
Of
it's their
course.
home and it's their ambience. But I think putting a TV in a bedroom will make your sleep more disturbed. You will be more anxious in your sleep, even though if you're going to sleep and you say, oh, I went to sleep and I slept in 5 minutes, it's so good. But during the night, your brain doesn't stop. It's
Like
like,
the activity of
yeah,
the brain is
yes,
going
exactly. It's going to be more active than going in that state of calm and relaxed before that.
Okay.
Because you're shutting the light exactly when you close your eyes. So that will affect your entire nervous system.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, indeed. And it's a lot to talk about about this topic.
And speaking of this, I know there is a term called light pollution.
Exactly. It happens a lot nowadays in our cities, and I'm all the time when I'm visiting a new city, I observe this. This light pollution.
So you're like the light police.
Exactly. You use more light than you need, and it's not well. I don't know how to say
like
it.
balanced or
It's not
well put.
Exactly. I don't know. Just taking a lighting pole, like pedestrian lighting pole. His purpose is to light the floor for people or cars to see where are they going. But instead of that, there are many examples where the light goes up. So it creates that fogginess above the city, which is called light pollution. But light pollution, it's not only about the city. It affects you also in the house. For example, if you don't have curtains or blinds to your windows, and outside it's night and all the cities light up, like for example here it's a big city, or it's a city that never sleeps. Exactly. So it's a lot of light on the streets, on the buildings, architectural lighting, commercials, a lot of commercials, and all that light enters into your home. So think about not having a TV in your bedroom, but having all that outside light coming into your house unconditionally and unwanted, affects everything that happens in your house. I mean, even if you don't want to go to sleep, but you want to have a good ambience, to light a painting with a very nice yellow, but the outdoor light comes into your house and it's everything white. It disturbs everything that's well put in your house just because of that. So that's light pollution. It's not used properly.
Okay.
And it's abuse. It's abusive light.
Okay.
And it happens also on a micro scale and also on a macro scale. So I think we need to be a bit more aware how we use it, even in our homes, because we tend to put a general light in our house to light everything, but it's unnecessary. You just need to light the things that you want, the spaces that you want, the corners that you will use, not just mount a general light to light up everything. It's very unuseful to do that. It's very good to go to someone who knows actually what it's doing.
Okay. For example, Adela Petra Design.
Exactly.
Otherwise, the
Otherwise,
light police
the light
will give you a fine.
Exactly.
When we make the transition between the seasons, we have a disorder called SAD, or seasonal affective disorder, which can influence heavily our mood, our emotional well-being. So maybe you can please tell us more about this SAD and what role does lightning play in this?
Seasonal affective disorder is psychological affection, which is very in a deep connection with the climate changes. So there are countries in this world where they have a lack of natural lighting, and this is a disorder discovered in the 80s when they put a bunch of people, they did some tests on them, and they put them for 3 weeks in a space with the lack of natural light, and they've noticed that their food appetite, the lack of energy, the small depression started to grow on them, and they were trying to give a response to this lack of light in these northern countries. So as a result, for combating this disorder, they again took these people and expose them to a very bright light for 3 hours during the dawn and for 3 hours during the dusk, and they've noticed an improvement in their behaviors and in their mood and in their efficiency of doing daily things, like normal things. So as a result, they are starting to propose for a city, for example, in these countries where they have like for 6 months of dark, in the bus station to have a bright light, like 5,000 lumen or 2,000 lux. It's the measurement for intensity of light. Okay. For people to be exposed to that light for when they are waiting to go to work. Or you can use this type of light when you are at work to recharge your lighting batteries, for example. I mean, you cannot stay for 6 hours to such a big exposure of lighting, but at least you can have for a few hours a better improvement.
So at least for a few hours, if you have this type of exposure, you will get a boost of energy, of mood.
Exactly. So it's very important not to use a lower light or a yellow light, because it will not have the same effect as wanted. So it's very, very good to know that it needs to be a bright light, a white light, and it has to be like 5,000 lumens.
If we are talking now about some practical tips, how can we boost productivity in an office using light?
Yes, we can boost or lower our productivity, but that's not what we want in an office. By choosing the right or wrong color. For example, in an office, it's better using a brighter light, like we have here on this side.
Yes,
we have a
so
brighter.
we are very productive.
Yes,
now.
yes, exactly. We are very productive. And also a colder light, not very cold, not like 6,000 Kelvin is the measurement. Kelvin is the scale and the measurement for the temperature of color.
Okay.
It can go from 3,000 Kelvin, which is not this. This is warmer than 3,000 Kelvin. It's like 2,000 Kelvin, to more than 6,000 Kelvin. But this is a very blue light, so we don't want blue light.
Okay.
It's better to use a neutral light, white light, neutral light, which is around 4,000 Kelvin or 5,000 Kelvin at maximum, because after that it goes to blue. And we don't want to be disturbed. Like you remember what I said,
yes.
that if it's too blue, it's making you anxious. So you don't want either that.
Okay. And does it play any role if the light comes exactly from above, or it should come like from the side, or?
Yes, it affects you. Depends on the function of the space. You use different type of lights for your needs. For example, here we have like a direct light, which is this, because we need to be seen. But for example, in an office, maybe you need to light up only the desk. You don't want to have a lot of light entering in your eyes, because you cannot focus. Or when you are in a spa, you won't use any of this type of lighting. You will use the indirect lighting. You won't see the source of light. You will see only the light spreading on other objects, but you won't see it directly, because you want to create a certain mood or atmosphere. And like here, for example, we have the spa mood and the work mood in both in the same place.
Okay. And from what you were saying, like blue and green light are not very good or not very recommended if you want to relax. But like, should we run away from this type of light, or when could we use this type of light?
That's a good question. You don't have to run away because it's a subjective topic, even though it's in a cognitive level, but it's subjective. Maybe you really, really love green light and this makes you the calmest person in the world. But on a long term, maybe you won't see it, but it will affect your moods, your daily moods, without knowing it.
Okay.
So it's not only about the perception, because you love it, you enjoy it, but on a long term, you will be exposed to a light that will make your life more anxious without knowing it. Maybe we'll put it on because of you had a bad day, but maybe it's the light because you are too exposed to that kind of light. I don't know. You can use in very different types, blue light or green light. I've never seen it in a home.
Okay.
I've seen it in cinema rooms, for example. I've seen it in playground areas. I don't know, in shops.
Maybe in a club.
In clubs.
Okay.
It's more like a playful ground. It's not so often used in static ambience, like in a home or an office. It's like more playful.
As a conclusion, how do you see the study of light evolving in the future?
It's a good question again. There are some countries that have this light study very evolved, not in Romania as much as in other countries, but I think it can start from the university, from certain universities that includes architecture or interior design. I think we should use this topic more often because I've never learned in the school about this topic, even though I know there are courses, extra courses like workshops, not in Romania, not so many. We have now from 5-10 years ago, but I think we can be more aware if we learn from the beginning, if we introduce this topic starting from schools. And after that, if you want to improve yourself about this topic, you should do like workshops and I don't know, things like that.
Thank you very much for joining me today and for brightening our understanding. And looking forward to see new designs on Petra Adela Design on Instagram.
You're very welcome. And I'm very glad that I can shine with my presence here. And I hope to see you soon again and talk more about other interesting topics.